What's going on, y'all? Can you believe that the Kevin Hart roast is still a topic of discussion? He goes on the Breakfast Club, and we're going to talk about that. And also, Tony Hinchcliffe, he had his response as well. Why are these teenagers so radically out of their minds that they are taking over Chicago instead of doing something productive? And when people get mad at the black community and they say these kids are out of control, here is Exhibit A. We're going to talk about it. Also, the White House, or at least the gentleman that we all love and know, the gentleman that had the Trump flags and American flags at his house in California, he was attacked and murdered. That was such a sad situation. We're going to talk about that, and there's a GoFundMe that goes along with it. I also don't know how Spencer Pratt does not win the mayoral position in L.A. I do not understand. He went on another interview and killed it. We have to talk about that. But before we get to any of that, we have to talk about the young man who's up and coming, New York Giant quarterback, and I think he's going to win a lot of awards. He's going to be very successful, and maybe I'm biased because he supports Donald Trump, but Jackson Dart is getting a lot of pushback because he's endorsed in part Donald Trump, and also he opened for Donald Trump at one of his rallies. But we'll get to all of that. Just hold the phone. Welcome to the Officer Tatum Show.
I want everybody in this room to have that same spirit, that same identity carried in your life.
Make sure that you go through life and find your purpose.
And we don't do this just to get a pat on the back. We do it because we came here to win.
And it starts with you understanding that God has a purpose for you.
This is the time to be more bold than ever before.
We're all Americans at the end of the day, and we should love one another. We should be focused on what's right for our country. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this. Shout out to the members. Thank y'all for being members of the Tatum Show, of the Tatum apparatus. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. Because of you, you're allowing us to expand and grow and do greater things. So I appreciate every single member, especially my deputy chiefs, ride or die. I appreciate you guys. And thank y'all for continuing to grow. I think we're growing. Maybe that's the fastest growing is our deputy chiefs because of how much it is per person. So I really appreciate you guys for being supportive. All right, let's get right into the first topic, and that's Jackson Dart. I want to call him Jason for some reason. Maybe he had a brother named Jason. But Jackson Dart, I've always thought he was a tremendous player when he played for Ole Miss. I have to say his fiancee wife is a 10, and that's why they hating on him. Can I be honest? Homeboy is a good-looking young man. No homo. Good-looking young man. Very talented. Got a lot of money in the bank, and that woman on his arm is a 10 out of 10. And they cannot, and then he support Trump. So they can't stay, their brains are popping right now because this young man decided to live his own life, do his thing, and boss up, and they mad. Let me just show you what they're mad at. When I say they, you'll see The View had something to say about it. All kind of people write something. Even some of his teammates had something to say about it. Uniquely enough, I think I agree in part with Emmanuel Acho, but we'll get to that here in a second. But let me just show you the intro that he did in introducing President Donald Trump at a rally, which is a once-in-a-lifetime accomplishment. I don't care who you are. Roll the clip.
What's up, what's up, what's up? Yeah. Look, Big Blue Nation, it's a pleasure to be here. I got to start this off with a Go Big Blue. I'd love it if y'all would follow with me. Go Big Blue. Go Big Blue. Go Big Blue. Go Big Blue. What an honor, what a privilege it is to be here. And without further ado, I'm grateful, I'm honored, I'm pleasured to introduce the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, President Donald J. Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American.
All right, y'all, let me just explain this real quick because I know a lot of people put a lot of pressure on these young people. That kid is like 24 years old. He's a kid. And I have to give my hat off to someone that can do that under pressure. You got to think Jackson Dart is not a public speaker. He's probably really good. He's very smart. Obviously, he's intelligent because he's a quarterback. But, that's got to be difficult. Imagine how many of you guys can go out there and introduce the President of the United States without passing out. I mean, I even am nervous. If I ever had to introduce President Trump, I would be incredibly nervous. But he did it. But when he did it, you know who had a problem with it. All right, pull up the tweet. Abdul Carter, which is probably one of the best players in college football when he came out in the NFL draft. He got drafted to the New York Giants, same team. And he's an electrifying player. Why he had to come out and make a thing about this is crazy to me, because if Jackson Dart went out and opened for Barack Obama, not Michelle, I said Michelle, like she gonna run for president. They'll never run for president. Y'all don't get it twisted. They don't want that drama no more anyway. But if, what's her name? Hillary Clinton or Kamala Nepat Harris, and he went and opened for them, why would Abdul Carter not say, he would probably not say anything. He got to understand that he's getting brainwashed to think that his teammate opening for the president of the United States that won 2 terms, he actually won 3 times. If you ask me, opening for him is a bad thing. That's crazy. You got to understand you're getting brainwashed. But anyway, Abdul Carter said this, and then there's a lot of other responses. And I think that Emmanuel Acho, even though I don't like half of the stuff he says sometimes because I think he woke, but Emmanuel Acho actually says something that makes sense. Now, I don't agree 100% with what Emmanuel Acho said, but I think he's one of the fairest takes that I've seen when it comes to the controversy surrounding Jackson Dart and this whole thing with introducing President Donald Trump. Roll the clip.
All right, it's time to have an uncomfortable conversation about what the hell is going on in New York. Jackson Dart, the quarterback, supporting President Donald Trump? He's allowed to do that. He's a citizen. He's allowed to have a freedom of thought. Abdul Carter, first-round pick, his teammate calling him out? He's allowed to do that. If Jackson Dart's allowed to support Donald Trump, then his teammate is allowed to support his grievances with him doing that. Here is my issue. Jackson Dart,
Now, this is where I disagree in part, is his take on Jackson Dart. Roll it.
You know how several of your brothers, your teammates, your friends, your ride or dies, how they might feel about this individual. So I don't think there's a lot of wisdom or discernment in very publicly supporting an individual who many of your teammates feel offended by. So yes, Jackson Dart, you're allowed to do whatever the hell you want. But I don't know that it's a super wise decision without necessarily consulting in some of your teammates. Abdul Carter, you're allowed to express your frustrations with it. I don't think it's super wise to do it publicly, because now you got 36 million people looking at a tweet of Abdul Carter, you calling out your boy. Keep in mind, y'all are both supposed to be the future of the New York Giants. One a first-round quarterback, one a first-round edge rusher. Y'all both supposed to be the face of the franchise. So with that being said, Jackson Dart, I don't personally have an issue with him supporting Donald Trump. He's a human. He can support who he wants to support. Was it pretty stupid, given the reaction it will cause to his other brothers that are humans and have human emotions? Absolutely. I don't think it was wise.
All right, that's enough. Think about this. How many people actually wrote something online or had a public problem about Jackson Dart? 1. Are you sure, Emmanuel Acho, that half his team, because they're black? Are you sure a lot of his teammates have a problem with what he did? They supposed to be ride or die. Let's put this together. If I'm ride or die, that means no matter what you do, I still got your back. I'm telling you, if I'm ride or die, if you go out and support Barack Obama, and I don't like Barack Obama, you go out and support one of these Democrats, I don't like Democrats, and you open for one of them, I'm ride or die, so I still got your back, bro. I'm not going to say nothing about you. I'm not going to publicly diss you. If I got something to say, I'll say it to you. But in public, I'm gonna hold you down like a quarter pound. I'll get on there and say, y'all better leave my quarterback alone. I don't care what he has a right to do whatever he want to do. I don't like it, but I'm not going to put that in public. I'm going to support my brother in public if you really ride or die. But these people ain't ride or die. They're tribal. They hate Donald Trump for no reason. We finna find out why. But Boomer, which he is probably a boomer, but he had an incredible thing to say, which I think I might actually agree with what he said a little more than Emmanuel Acho, because he kind of brought some receipts and more of a franchise perspective to this whole thing. Roll the clip.
This was a real error on the part of Abdul Carter, not on the part of Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart was asked to do something to introduce the president of the United States. How many people get an opportunity to do something like that, regardless of who the president is? You may have hated Barack Obama. You may have hated Joe Biden. And some guys didn't want to go to the White House because they didn't like those presidents, just like other guys didn't want to go to the White House because they didn't like President Trump. But to put this out like a child on social media is ridiculous. And then when I heard, we spoke man to man, there was only one man on that call, and that was Jackson Dart. You were a man who was late to meetings. You were a man who didn't live up to your draft choice. You're a man who wanted to wear number 56. And by the way, your idol, number 56, has introduced Donald Trump numerous times. So I don't want to hear this. So he made another just boneheaded error by going to social media.
I think I agree with that perspective better, given some of the statistical data points. Now, here is Lawrence Taylor introducing Trump. Listen.
I grew up a Democrat, and I've always been a Democrat until I met this man right here. And I'll tell you what, he will not have to worry about nobody in my family ever vote for a Democrat again. Okay.
Now, Abdul Carter, come on, shawty. Where's your tweet about Lawrence Taylor, your idol, whom you wanted to wear the same number as Lawrence Taylor to represent Lawrence Taylor? And to be honest, Lawrence Taylor said, bro, don't piggyback off me. Make your own name. Why don't you write to Lawrence Taylor? Oh, because Lawrence Taylor is black. So Lawrence Taylor being black, I'm telling you, black people do this, y'all. That's why they hate me, because they don't like me telling other people what black people be doing. You didn't say nothing about him, but you said something about Jackson Dart because it's racial to you. The white boy supporting Donald Trump is a racial matter to you, so you feel like you need to say something for the culture. Come on, bro. Y'all can't play with me. I'll add all y'all stuff. Let me look at the jersey sales real quick, just so y'all know the perspective. Jackson Dart's jersey was the #1 seller. Matter of fact, I might buy one of these jerseys because I like people that stand on business, and I like people that are like-minded. I might get me one of these jerseys in red. All right, let's get to some other bonehead nut jobs who had something to say about this. I think the people that I showed had a reasonable response. Now, these fools are off the rocker. They didn't fell off somewhere and bumped their heads. Y'all know who I'm talking about. DeVere. Look at Whoopi Goldturds and the rest of these mindless women. Y'all make women look bad. Y'all make you look like y'all don't have a brain. Why can't y'all have common sense on this show? But you can't, and I like talking about y'all. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all give me a lot of fodder. Roll the clip.
New York Giants quarterback Jackson Dart surprised a lot of fans and some of his teammates Friday for this appearance off the field. Take a look.
What an honor, what a privilege it is to be here. And without further ado, I'm grateful, I'm honored, I'm pleasured to introduce the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, President Donald J. Trump.
I want to thank Jackson Dart. This is going to be a future Hall of Famer in my book. Thank you. Thank you, Jackson. Great. I'm looking at Jackson. I'd like to know, is there any woman in the audience that thinks they can tackle that guy? Because I'd like to meet you. I'd like to shake your hand. I don't know. Jackson, you think you could play against women okay?
I don't know what all that was.
Yeah, because you're dumb.
But some people were not happy with Dart's open political endorsement. I mean, isn't he entitled to his...
It's America.
I mean, he's entitled to his thing.
For somebody to back a guy like Trump, whose history in discrimination and racism goes back to housing discrimination.
In the 70s.
In the 70s, his father had the housing discrimination that was rectified. It wasn't Donald Trump's sole ownership, and Donald Trump did not do that exclusively. And Donald Trump since then have had every black person on planet Earth under his armpit in a picture, and everybody loved Donald Trump. Y'all can't keep going to that same stupid stuff trying to give ghost stories. Donald Trump has been proven beyond it. You just saw Lawrence Taylor, one of the greatest football players ever, said he was a Democrat his whole life until who? Donald Trump. Y'all stupid, bro. Come on.
These DEI attacks and posting pictures of the Obamas as apes.
Time out. He did not make the post. He did not post that. It was not even the original post. It was the guy was whoever posted it was screen recording something, and then the next slide was that. That wasn't the post. And Donald Trump never posted it. And it wasn't even the purpose of the post. And you know it, but you're getting on TV and lying about it. This is why y'all lose and why y'all confused and why people love Trump. Because y'all stupid and y'all make up lies, and people that got common sense know that it's bull crap. And then you go to even the thing that was a meme that somebody else created that had nothing to do with Donald Trump's post. It just so happened to be the next post on the screen recording. They had everybody was animals. It wasn't just Barack Obama and them. Everybody was animals. All right. Let her finish.
He's on a team that's 55% to 60% the NFL is that many people, that much percentage of black people.
Yeah,
Black people. That is just the definition of stupidity and racist.
Because black people are stupid. That's what you're saying? Y'all so out of touch with reality. You're literally saying black people are stupid. You're saying that every black person thinks alike. So if the majority of the players on his team are black, they must not like Trump. Y'all got to see how many people follow me and how many people in my DMs that communicate with me that are NFL, that are celebrities, that are like, they love Donald Trump. Y'all the ones trying to put that on people. People ain't said nothing about it. One player on his team said something about it. Probably 80% of them like Trump. Come on, bro. Roll it.
And the people on the field, having been on teams, you know, the whole point is we're in this together. And it kind of got that foxhole mentality of we're out there, we're playing together. To not, even if that is what you believe, which I let anyone, that's the beauty of America. It's the most liberal belief that we can all have our own belief. I get that. But there would be consequences. You're the quarterback, which is a central player on that field.
The leader.
A leader. And the majority, it's actually 75% of the New York Giants and the NFL as a whole are black or non-white.
Yeah.
To not think about the most recent offenses from the 8 video to these voting rights things, which even people that aren't that dialed in are recognizing, wait, are you now just going to marginalize and completely disenfranchise? To have thought about how that might feel to your team, the ones that are on the field with you, I would have handled it differently.
Time out. First of all, shut the up talking about football. None of y'all talked about football, have ever played football. You ain't never been in a locker room. Unless you was on somebody's phone after they passing your pictures around because you nasty. But you ain't never been in a locker room. Don't tell football players what football players think. We not like you women. Y'all moody and doing all that stuff. Man, if our quarterback did something, we support our quarterback. What are y'all saying? I'm telling you, even the players that support Trump, if Jackson Dart would have went out and supported a Democrat, man, that's our quarterback. We're going to support him no matter what. We in the trenches together. We do summer workouts together. We're not stupid like y'all. And then for you to think every black person on the team is too stupid to do any research as it relates to this fake voter rights thing, you are downplaying the intelligence of athletes. Y'all cutting up, bro. Y'all, somebody, they had me on the View, I'd tear that View up. I'd tear it up. Roll the clip.
Maybe he needs a little extra padding.
Well, maybe.
But the thing is, this was a choice, and it was a political one. And, you know, we're just not in normal times anymore. And so we know that when there have been abnormal times, like during the civil rights movement, you had athletes speak up. You had someone like...
Time out. And Jim Brown, who was one of the biggest activists as an athlete during the civil rights movement and all that other stuff, Jim Brown supported Trump. Jim Brown was at the White House supporting Trump. What are y'all even saying? These people got to go back 60 years. What do you mean? We passed that stuff. Let him finish, Brandon. Please, Lord, let him finish.
Muhammad Ali, who took a stand against the Vietnam War, and then you've had Juan Carlos, who took a...
Muhammad Ali made a cowardice decision by deciding he went to jail over it. I think he got arrested for it because he decided he was going to try to not go to war, like every other American that had to fight in the war, even if they agreed or not. And that's what you think that's honorable? I'm not saying nothing about my boy Muhammad Ali. He fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee, but that wasn't right what he did. Roll a clip.
Stand against what was happening here in the U.S. I think
she won't say Jim Brown.
The history of this president, and you know the biases of this president. For a certain community, the black community, for me,
don't speak for me.
This feels personal. And I think if you are someone who attacks the community to which I belong, and you support that, that tells me two things. Either one, you agree with his politics and you agree with his biases, or you can be adjacent to it, stomach it, and that means you are complicit in my view.
Yeah, there's a whole Congress.
All right, let me correct these menopausal women. Nothing against y'all real women that do menopause. I'm talking about these nut jobs that let it get the best of them. Now, first of all, more black people have voted for Donald Trump than any Republican in history. Black people were Republicans to start with. They got manipulated and tricked by the Democrats. That's the only reason why they vote for Democrats. And Donald Trump has done more for black people than Democrats have. Donald Trump fully funded HBCUs, had every HBCU president at the White House. Donald Trump had a black pastor coalition come to the White House. I've been to the White House multiple times. Everybody loved Trump. You see Trump out in public, everybody loved Trump. Everybody support and respect Trump. It's these dumb women on the show that just making up stuff in their mind. Donald Trump ain't done nothing to hurt black people. Stopping illegal immigration helps black folks. Democrats want as much illegal immigration as they can to replace you Negroes. Quit listening to these fools. That's why we lost now. Listen to these idiots. All right, let's move on. This is one of my favorite parts of the show is Kevin Hart. I was, before the show, my team put it together. Shout out to Grant, because I didn't see this until Grant brought it up. This, like, I'm not going to lie. I got so much more respect for Kevin Hart than I ever had. And this is about them still crying about jokes that were told at the roast. And before we get there, I want to tell you guys about Synergy. If you're looking for an energy drink that's good, sustainable, natural, Synergy is what you got. If you need some help sleeping, Synergy Night will help you get to sleep with melatonin. Or it's 1 milligram of melatonin, mostly magnesium and ashwagandha. And so you put that stuff together, it will help you get good quality sleep. If you want pure product and you want a company that agrees with your values, here you go. SynergyLife.com, SynergyLife.com. Let's get to Kevin Hart. All right. This is Kevin Hart on The Breakfast Club going through this whole thing, and I got so much more respect for him. I think I even follow him on social media. I would love to interview or reach out to him, even if it's private. I got a lot of respect for this man saying this, because everybody else punk out. Even when they tried to cancel Kevin Hart for the gay thing he did, or whatever, a joke he told, he still stood on business, and that's why I like him. Roll it.
Yeah, the George Floyd joke, it wasn't a tasteful joke to our culture, to our audience, but our audience that's watching the roast, if you're watching the roast, you get why they're doing it. You get why the racial humor is on the table. Like, it's not, I wasn't shocked. Like, that's what they do. Go look at the Tom Brady one. Like, that's what they do. It happens every year when they do a roast. It's not new. This isn't a new, it's not a new agenda. It's not a new approach to comedy.
Do you feel like Tony Hinchcliffe went too far when he made that joke about George Floyd?
It's Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yeah.
Like, I don't expect less. I don't expect more.
I feel like you're saying going too far is the point. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yes, I mean, that's why you're there. Mm-hmm. And I hate to say this, but I'm going to, because we're being honest. People are talking about that joke. Talk about his set. Tony Hinchcliffe arguably had the best set, or one of the best sets, between Tony and Cheryl. And I would say Naeem had a really strong set.
Naeem had a very strong set. I was laughing out loud at Tony until that joke.
Until the joke.
But not even just that joke. I don't like when people joke about violent, tragic death. I liked Pete's set, and then I was like, why you had to say anything about Charlie Kirk?
Pete had a great set too. Pete had a Charlie Kirk joke in there. Like, would I tell those jokes? No. But do I get why they're being told? Mm-hmm. Yes. Like, I'm not looking at Pete crazy. I'm not looking at Tony crazy. Like, that's what, I know what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. I know your style of comedy.
All right. They keep going. They can't help themselves. I don't know if they're just trying to continue the conversation or they ignorant. He just said all he had to say. But they keep going. And he keep proving them wrong. Roll it.
Did you see the interview that I did with Terrence Floyd, George Floyd's brother?
No.
So he said
no shot to you.
No, that's look.
I'm never watching that.
That's fine.
I just want to be clear. I'm never watching that. Like,
I only brought it up.
Even now that you told me, I'm not going to go back and go look at that interview.
Because he's a fan.
But I just want to make it clear so you understand what I do with my time. Like, I'm never doing that. Okay, go ahead.
I just asked because he's a fan of you. He saw the joke and it picked up pretty big. So I didn't know if you saw it, but he basically said, like, as a fan of you and knowing that you came to the funeral to support his family, even though it's a roast and Tony, that's what he does, they expected you to kind of be the person that would like stop it right in the moment or just not allow for certain things to happen.
And he also said he wanted you to come harder. He said if they're going to joke, why you ain't come harder with your own jokes? All right, racist jokes, I guess.
This is actually a good thing to give a rebuttal.
See, didn't
they
you
talked
wish you
about
watched
they talked about my dead mom and my dead dad. Said that they were running a train on my mom in
that was hilarious,
right?
It was,
that was crazy.
Listen,
yeah, that was Regina
hilarious.
killed that.
Right?
Yes,
oh wait,
that
that's
great.
probably, you probably should say killed that.
The jokes about Kevin was on a slave ship in a bottle with like the ship in the bottle. Like, I'm going to appreciate humor. I don't get affected by the attempt of humor. I get it, right? In this case, like, do more. It's my production. We're live. The more is what? Like, what is it that you expect me? You want me to take a live production and stand up and fight Tony or have a reaction? Like, Tony told a joke. It wasn't a tasteful joke to us. We didn't like it. Okay. Hey, man, that joke. We move on. I don't understand why we stand on a hill and it becomes like this big thing of like, oh man, they do this and they're attacking the culture. It doesn't have to be that. It literally is either you're a fan of this level of content or you're not. And if you're not a fan, then you don't watch it. So my last note for all attached to this is very simple, okay? Whatever the headlines or whatever the dialogue is, my rebuttal is simplicity. Remove me from it. I didn't say it. If you are upset that the night went on, that's a different conversation. It's nothing I can do. It's a production. It's a live production. I'm not compromising the live production for a reaction of what? What do you want me to do? I'm going to drag him off? You want me to fight afterwards? You want me to turn it into, like, what? That's not what I agreed to do. That's not the job at hand. The job at hand was to produce a successful roast, which I did. I also got the rebuttal. I also got to say it at the end. What are we dealing with here? I'll say it again. Stop talking as if I said it. So when you say the family and the family's affected, I didn't disrespect the family. Showed up for the family when it happened. Made sure that the family felt supported. Made sure that all things there were actually cool.
And let me say this before we get to the last clip, because he finishes it pretty strong here. This is why Kevin Hart is so successful. I'm telling you, he's one of those successful black men who understands the game. He understands how to level up. He do not put culture over success. He do not put culture over professionalism. And that's why he does so well. And that's why he's very successful as a comedian. That's why he's invited to do movies and all kind of other stuff that Kevin Hart is doing, is because he kind of rises above the fray. He still goes and supports the black community and do things like that, but he rises above the fray and he's open to having relationships and partnering and doing ventures with everybody. Him and The Rock are like best friends. And The Rock is mixed. You know, he don't really quite claim he black and whatever case it be, he's like Samoan or something. But Kevin had all kinds of comedians there. That's why that guy is who he is. I wish that people would internalize that. The ones that's complaining, bickering, and acting a fool and don't have the level up mentality, they're like Monique and them. Still complaining about not getting opportunities here and there. It's because your character's bad and you want to be blackity before you do anything else. That's why you'll never be as successful as Kevin Hart. All right, here's his last part. Roll it.
You know the one person that I talked to, and I'm not even going to tell you the conversation, Stephen Jackson.
Oh, I know he caught that.
That's because that's my...
Yeah.
Hey, Stack, let me just call you, man, so I can explain to you, like, the world of the roast, X, Y, and Z. We talk. I get it, Kev. We had a great conversation. But that's what I mean when I say, hey, man, let me call the one person after. And that's before whatever you're talking about. That's immediate. That, hey, Tony threw one out there. it's this and this, but you do know that that's what this shit is a roast. But I just want you to know from my side, that man is on his own.
You ain't lead with that, Kev. You should have been leading with that the whole time.
Because I don't need to.
People just want to know you care.
I don't fucking need to prove to people that I give a fuck.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Just this time. This one time.
No.
Yes, this one.
No. If you open that door, then that's the door that people expect all the time. Why the f do I need to do that?
I think it's because of how much the George Floyd situation affected so many people. I think I get what you're saying and how you stand on your business, and I respect you for that.
I'm not talking about standing on business.
Or whatever it is. I think with certain things.
Not say it.
But their pushback is it happened at Kevin Hart's roast. Kevin Hart, who is like, he's like, so many of us support you. You're ours.
They just want to hear you say. They just want to hear you say what you said today is tasteless. You actually reached out to somebody who's considered his family to say, let them know. That's all.
I have the best example.
Mm-hmm.
If I go to a nightclub and like we're celebrating, right, and 2 people get killed that night at the nightclub, what's the headline?
Kevin Hart's party got shot.
Shot up.
2 people
Two
got
people
killed
died
at Kevin Hart's party.
at Kevin Hart's party, right? People may say, I'm not going to Kevin Hart's party again. Man, you can't go to Kevin Hart's. Kevin Hart's ain't safe. I ain't with Kev. You heard what happened. I go, but I didn't fucking do it. I didn't even know the people that was shooting. I didn't even know the 2 people that got killed. That's the nature of being the name. Your name is attached to things to make things bigger. What is I didn't shoot the gun. Why am I arguing and why am I doing interviews after?
Why were they in your party with guns,
But who knows? I don't work the metal detectors. I'm not the security guys. The club does all that. I don't have those answers. You understand what I'm saying? Like the responsibility it starts to compile as if I'm the one in charge. We are not in charge of the dialogue from anybody on that stage.
If Tony calls you right now and says, man, Kev, man, I was out at the comedy club, man, and man, this dude, man, who said he was George Floyd's brother, smacked it out me.
You gotta deal with that.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do? What you want me to do? That's the consequences of the shit.
Can't complain about nothing he said. Tony Hinchcliffe had a response, and I want to play his response real quick to Chelsea Handler because I thought this was incredible as well. And it's like the people with common sense prevail, right? He prevails. Kevin Hart prevails. Tony Hinchcliffe prevails. Why? Because he has common sense. Roll the clip.
Kevin Hart was something else, huh? It's the first time I've been called a Nazi multiple times in just a few hours. I guess that's what LA writers' rooms, all these, a lot of mentally ill liberals out there that somehow with all these blacks and Jews and Mexicans around me, I guess I'm a Nazi somehow. I guess the guy that pulls names out of a bucket, giving everybody an opportunity, is a Nazi. Isn't that something? And I got called a Nazi, gay, a racist over and over again. I'm none of those 3 things. A little fun fact. But they are they are fat, ugly, black, and Jewish. Everything I said was real about them. Just a reminder. Because I woke up today, and even though there's news articles, because the news isn't real, nothing is real, that say that I got lit up by Chelsea Handler, which is very, very funny because that's not what happened at all.
No,
you can't believe anything you see or read on the news anymore. You have to actually watch the thing for yourself. She was a bit of a I'll tell you that. She just kept coming at me over. She said I took the Saudi Arabia money. She was like wrong about things. The writers just didn't do her any justice. But then the teleprompter, the fun fact, the teleprompter only went down during my set. And it gave me a lot of opportunity to remind Chelsea Handler what she looks like and where her life is.
I think it's funny. I want people to understand that the people that were saying the jokes, they had writers. They may have had input, but it looks like the writers were writing all the jokes to kind of structure it. So it wasn't really that. But I wanted Tony to get his words out there because I think he's a good guy. Let's get to the next story, which is crazy and out of control. And it's something I mentioned at the beginning of the show is why are these young people doing this? Why don't you see white communities doing takeovers? I'm telling you, why don't we see that? And it's a culture, and I want you to see this, and I want you to see the community members who had a problem with it. And I want to know if you can identify where the issues are. You can identify why the people who had a problem with them had a problem with them. I want you to write in the comment section. We're going to play it, and then you're going to see the community's outrage. And I wonder, can you identify? And I'm going to tell you at the end, but I wonder if you can identify what my mind is at and why it's significant. Roll the clip.
Not only did multiple teenagers end up in the hospital as a result of a large gathering, we know there were many on different parts of the West Side overnight. 5 Chicago police officers were also sent to the hospital after a car drove through one of those crowds.
There's a large teen gathering.
Calls we heard over police scanner radio giving a look into what Chicago police were up against in the middle of the night near Loomis and Roosevelt.
We've got about 100 teens dispersing south of Roosevelt and Loomis.
Large groups of teenagers in the street, this time on the West Side.
This car just ran through a whole crowd of Chicago police officers.
This video posted to social media shows the moments after a driver went through a crowd of people, including police officers.
They get 3 ambulances over there. Officer was struck.
Police say 5 officers were taken to the hospital. An 18-year-old man arrested after driving a blue sedan in the wrong direction, eventually crashing into a pole and then a fence.
The accountability mechanism.
Today, Mayor Brandon Johnson reacting to a violent weekend so far.
These unauthorized gatherings, as we have indicated multiple times, that they can be dangerous. And in this case, we saw the manifestation of that danger.
Within the same hour, those officers were injured, gunshots rang out, while other Chicago police officers were near Washtenaw Park. Police say they found 4 gunshot victims there, 3 girls, 1 18-year-old, 2 16-year-olds. The 4th victim, a boy who is just 14 years old. Police say a male suspect ran off on foot before officers arrived. We captured police on scene walking out with 2 people in handcuffs. Mayor Brandon Johnson saying the accountability cannot just lie with the teenagers in this case.
We need our parents to know where their children are.
Time out. That wuss won't take a strong stance. That's why the black community that we see, don't get mad at me. Look at what these boys and these girls doing out here. That's why ain't never gonna amount to nothing. Because nobody want to keep it real. I'm an Uncle Tom Coon sellout for saying something. Mayor Johnson, that they elected him, is taking a passive approach to this. The parents need to know where their kids are at. No, they need to go to jail. You need to go to jail. You are allowing your teens to be 14. I got a 15-year-old. You ain't finna go. You get your, I'll go down there and whoop you in front of everybody. You're not finna go down there mobbing and shooting and doing that. You ain't living with me. I'm Xi Jinping, communist China. You're not finna do nothing unless I authorize you to do it. If you want to go hang out with your friends, whatever, do something cool, that's good. You're not finna go and do that. With my name on your birth certificate, you ain't doing that. Parents have the ultimate authority, and they're letting their kids go out here and mob and act a fool, and then 14-year-old getting shot. It's the parents' fault. Brandon Johnson should be like, you're going to jail if your kids are out here doing this. You're going to go to jail. Enough is enough. We got young people dying in the streets. Look at this mess. Look at these young black people. You ain't got nothing better to do with your life than be out here acting a fool. And then you wonder why people judge black people. They don't get to see all the good black people. But we got enough doing this to make people question, oh, black, are they all like that? You can't get mad at them if they think. When I go places, I dress like I got sense. But if I'm dressed a certain way and people want to judge me, I can't really get mad. Maybe I'm an example of them not judging the book by its cover, but why am I gonna get mad when we out here doing this? This is all over the news. We ain't out here, we're not out here protesting something positive and demanding things of ourselves from the community. They're not out here in support when a young brother get killed, shot up at these same events. They're not out here saying, we need to quit the violence. No, they're out here adding to the violence. Let's get to the community outrage real quick. Because some of the community members had something to say, and I want to make a point here. Roll it.
When I say that there were, it looked like millions of kids out here. Kids were all on top of their cars. They were stopping in the middle of the street, twerking, and It was ridiculous.
Screaming and hollering. I've never seen anything like that. I couldn't figure out what was going on.
Time out. You see the age of these women? I want you to understand it's a generational thing. My big mama and them would have a cow and we would get beat. My daddy would beat me if I was caught up in something like this. My grandfather, grandma, beating. You won't walk for a couple days. Welts on your back. My daddy would probably punch me dead in the chest if I was out here ruining our family name, acting a fool with guns and shooting and acting. But it's a generational thing. I want you guys to understand how the generation has deteriorated. The market value of the black community has deteriorated, unfortunately. There are some that still, if you look at it as a portfolio, there's some stock that are going up. The tech stock of the black community is going up, but the average is going down. If you invested in the black community, your investment would be lower than it was in the 20s and 30s. Black people were on a trajectory, and I'll say this till I'm green in the face, on a trajectory to be the most prosperous and successful group of people out of any people in the country. Black Wall Street, which got rebuilt. Y'all always talk about the race war. It got rebuilt 4 or 5 years later. You got Harlem. Black people had bus lines, owned their own business, entertainment, music, you name it. Black people were doing it. And then we got caught up with them Democrats and Martin Luther King and communism and socialism. And what do? They devalued our community. Now we depended on the government instead of our own talents and abilities. And then now, kids having kids. And so there's no more big mama in the house. Grandfather is not there. Nobody's going to hold you accountable. Nobody knows who to represent their family name. Some people don't even know who their granddaddy is. Some boys don't even know who their daddy is. And that's why you can't grow and have some type of structure and believe in yourself because you don't come from anything. You don't know where you come from. So they running wild and they crazy out in the streets. And then kids are having kids, and then before you know it, the older generation is saying, what are these kids doing out here? And the younger generation, because they mama and them 30-something. They mama 30 with 6 kids. And they're acting a fool. Mama ain't doing nothing. She can't control that boy no more. That boy running over mama. Mama can't whoop him. He too big. He do what he want to do. Daddy ain't around. Daddy, I don't know what he doing. He a Rolling Stone. He got kids that he don't even know. Keep it up, man. That's why y'all don't find me talking about no black community. I live over here, these white people. They all, ain't no rally, ain't no riding over here. You get the riding over here, we gonna call police on you. Community gonna come out against you. Everybody, all these white people, they know where their kids at, and when their kids cutting up, they on their Ring camera. Scottsdale PD out here with your kid on the side of the road, giving them a citation. And what we doing? We drive by. That's what he get. He shouldn't have been out there doing that. That's what he get. I see cop beating up a kid. In my community, what did he do? Hey, that's what he did. Thank you for your service. We ain't out here protesting. Now, you did something for that cop to be whooping you like that. That's why our community's safe. All right, real quick, Spencer Pratt. I want to jump to this topic real quick because I think Spencer Pratt had an incredible interview. How does he not win L.A.? Spencer Pratt is finna say something in this interview that every single person in L.A. know to be true. But because tribalism and culturalism or whatever you want to call it, racism, they don't want to listen to this man. Everybody you talk to in L.A. will say the same thing he say. But yet, it's close. The vote is close. It shouldn't be close at all. Roll the clip.
What are your plans for the over 40,000 homeless in Los Angeles?
Yeah, well, they're not homeless. They're drug addicts. Most of these people are addicted to fentanyl and meth. This isn't Spencer making it up.
Are you saying they don't have homes?
There is places for all of these people to sleep in LA. No matter what anybody tells you, we have housing and shelter for everyone that's living on the street. They're choosing to be on the street because they want to do drugs. They don't want rules. They don't want to listen. They want to have animals to abuse. This idea that they're forced on the street right now is a lie that our city is perpetuating. We've paid $24 billion to house these 40,000 people. There's spots for all of these people. They are choosing, because they're an addict, and you can do fentanyl and super meth on the sidewalk with no repercussions. These places are not as, they have to follow some rules. You can't torture a dog in some of these houses. You can't just attack people. You can't just be naked.
Where are you going to move?
Well, I just released a 9-minute video, so you can.
I think I saw your video.
Yeah, so it's very detailed.
But it's going to take time to build the facility and money.
No.
How fast do you think you can do it?
These people can literally. I went to Washington and I saw miles of the most insane prefabricated housing and building. I asked all the CEOs of these companies, say, how long does this take? I met with FEMA and HUD, 3 days. 3 days, and all of this is cheaper than trying to take over, kick senior citizens out of their buildings. Is what happens. They kick them out, and then the NGOs come in and they spend 4 years. This is LA. This is LA's timetable.
Where is this facility going to be?
It's on beautiful federal land property.
Where, in LA County?
Well, when I'm mayor, I'll go meet with the federal government and I'll get the property. Right now, I'm just running, so I can't give you the exact address because I don't have the legal responsibility to go represent Los Angeles and say, can I have this land? But when I'm mayor, I promise you, because we have the Olympics coming and everybody in the government wants LA to be the #1 most beautiful city, they will work with me to give me the land I need.
So you're going to move these 40,000 people somewhere, and you're going to have this facility up in, you said, how long?
Here's what you got to realize.
90 days?
Let me explain something. These 40,000 people, 60% of them, City Watch just announced this week, are not from Los Angeles. They're not from California. These people have been bussed in by scam rehabs, scam NGOs, scam homeless nonprofits. These people, when I unplug them and say, we're not taking our tax money anymore, they're all going to Seattle, where the mayor will welcome them. These are products to a lot of people. So the people that want to keep doing drugs and live on the sidewalk, a lot of these people are going to leave. The other ones, there's a lot of criminals. There's people that are getting naked in front of kids. They're going to jail. The people that are torturing animals, they're going to jail. So not everyone goes in the same box. So we have the money, we have the resources, and we have the facility.
Come on. How y'all not voting for that man? Karen Bass won't say nothing that he said. Why? They really don't have a plan, and they want to play politics instead of doing what they're supposed to do. They should be doing the right thing by your tax dollars, but they will not do it. These people on the side of the road, when you drive by and you look at them, it's not people just on the side cooking ramen noodle in a thing and just trying to live their life. Hey, how you doing? We just don't have a home. It's people slumped like this. I seen people laying all the way back. They look like alphabet. People laying like, some people make it an L shape, laying like this, high, out of their mind, leaning on that H and all kind of stuff, on that fentanyl, leaning, dirty, pants sagging, begging people for drugs. Shoot, I swear I was just in LA. Needle hanging out their arm at the bus stop. They shooting and smoking crack and stuff at the bus. You drive by, you like, I remember I was somewhere in LA. This was like a couple years ago. I was in a hotel and I could look down in an alley from my hotel room. I saw people smoking crack, and it wasn't an alley. No, I take that back. It was it looked out into a courtyard, and there's other businesses and stuff in this courtyard. And these people walked over here to this thing that had a ledge on it. They put their stuff there. They were smoking crack. People walking by, they're smoking crack and stuff right in front of a whole complex, in front of this little courtyard thing, smoking crack. And then people saw them, and they just kept smoking. I recorded it. I got to go look through my phone to find a video. That's not homeless. People are using drugs. Spencer Pratt is correct. You out here committing crimes, you're gonna go to jail. That's a night to stay. You won't be homeless after that. You'll be in jail. You'll have a home in prison. All these people that, like he said, they want to do all this, get all the government assistance. Let these leftist states and cities accept them in. They go to Seattle. They'll go to Portland. They'll go to all these places and run their cities down amok. And California be clean. Let me give you this example, and I'm gonna move on. I was in Miami. Why in Miami Beach is there no homeless people everywhere? Homeless people have been making a killing out there. Why isn't no homeless people on the streets? I think I seen 1 or 2 homeless people the whole time I was in Miami for the 3rd time I went to Miami. Why? Because they're doing exactly what Spencer Pratt said he's going to do. All right. We're going to get to the post show for post show clarity for all of you guys who are members. I mean, we consider it. Maybe we'll give rookies an opportunity to always have access to post show. Maybe we'll do that for the rookies too. We'll figure that out. But y'all hold the phone. We'll get to the post show. Love you guys. God bless you. God bless America. Make sure you share this content to all your friends. See you on the other side.